Hello, our lovely Girl Awakening listeners. Welcome to 2023. I'm Jo Hendy from the Sacred Sister Project.
I'm Amanda Parker of Mayala Organics.
Come with us as we journey into this week's Awakening episode.
I talk to a spirit. She comes in my dreams. She teaches me lessons.
Hello and welcome to Girl Awakening. Hi, Amanda.
Good morning, Jo.
How exciting.
It's a gorgeous blue sky day.
Oh, and we've got a gorgeous girl sitting in a beautiful blue dress. Beautiful blue eyes. How lucky are we? Today we have Carolyn Bird from Boho Yoga. Carolyn is a holistic yoga teacher who originally began her journey as a path of self-discovery and has since been on a mission to help others experience the same physical, emotional and psychological benefits of a daily practice. Spending time in India to gain a greater appreciation for the origins of her practice, Carolyn is a wealth of knowledge and experience who has been running workshops and retreats for the past 10 years. It is for the sum total of these experiences that she has put together programs to help those seeking self-improvement, tranquility and inner peace. That's so beautiful. As a level 2 yoga instructor, Reiki Master, ice bath facilitator and breathwork.
Yes.
This is so exciting.
Yeah.
And coach. Carolyn has committed her life to learning, instructing and helping those who are genuinely seeking to improve their overall health and well-being. On that note...
Yeah, welcome, Caroline.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Good morning, Jo. Good morning, Amanda.
Well, you've known Caroline for a while,
I have.
and I've just realised, that I have actually attended one of your workshops last year. Oh my God, it was divine. It was such a beautiful, sacred experience.
Wow.
So everything that Jo was just reading out, feeling that.
Thank you.
Felt that actually.
Yes,
in
it was
person.
lovely to be able to connect with you back then and now be
Yay.
here today.
Yes,
Yay.
thank you.
We're going to do something really special this morning.
We're feeling a bit blessed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carolyn has suggested us doing a bit of breath work, which we are all for,
Yes.
before we begin. So if you're listening and you want to join in, pop your phone down and just pop a seat wherever you are and come with us. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Excellent. So we'll just all come into a comfortable seating position. So just really allowing this time for you, allowing this space. And once you're nice and comfortable, you can just gently close down your eyes. And just bringing your awareness inward. Notice how you feel. Notice how you feel mentally, spiritually and emotionally. Feel the energy in the room, the energy around you. And just gently now, we'll place our left hand on our abdomen. We'll place our right hand up towards our collarbones. And we're doing 3 beautiful rounds of breath today. In through the nose, out through the nose. So with a deep breath in through the nose now, all the way into the belly, you'll notice that left hand will rise. Continue that breath all the way up through the middle part of the chest, opening those lungs all the way up to the top of the chest, up to the collarbones. And let's just retain that breath for a moment. And with the exhale, we slowly, slowly exhale, releasing any unwanted energy. Releasing. Holding that breath out, round 2, all the way in, taking a big, deep inhale into the belly, into the chest, all the way up to the top of the chest. Hold that breath in, Kumbhaka. And gently release Rashaka on the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that breath. Paraka, inhale all the way in into the belly. Bring in that beautiful oxygen. Expand the ribs all the way up through the chest. Hold that breath. And ever so gently releasing, exhaling that carbon dioxide, releasing any unwanted energy, any tension, just let it all go. releasing and relaxing as we come back to center. You can relax the hands and just notice how you feel. And we can gently open back up the eyes.
Oh my God.
I feel so relaxed.
I'm so relaxed. That was so beautiful.
Yeah, it's just a nice way to really, get in the moment.
We so forget how important breath is, hey? Like we've literally, because it's just there, we don't put enough significance on how powerful it can be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Bring awareness into your breath is just so important.
Yeah, so beautiful.
We breathe every day, but just allowing that awareness to, use your breath for the benefit of your body and benefit of,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That was
thank you.
so lovely.
Well, it's not until you take those deeper breaths that you realise that we're just all up here in the chest, aren't we, really?
Definitely.
So thank you.
And by, just
grounded.
doing those nice, slow, deep breaths, it really just relaxes and calms down your nervous system. So in moments of stress or pressure, just remembering to go to that breath and allowing your body to just heal.
Yeah, heal.
Beautiful.
Speaking of healing, girl awakening, the big question, Carolyn, how did your awakening begin?
Well, mine's a bit of a long story, but I won't go too long for you today, girls.
We've got time. We've got time. We'll go wherever you need to go.
But I was awakened through trauma. So I had quite a lot of things happen in my life that created the awakening. So in a way, the darkness really provided the light in the end, and to be where I am today and, be extremely happy and know who I am as a person. I don't think I would have got there without, that darkness and, those experiences of life. But I just wrote a little note here that kind of sets the tone of my story, and
Beautiful.
I'll just read it for you. So, life is a rich tapestry made up of many different woven fabrics and threads that all fit neatly together to create the overall beautiful picture that is our life. I have learnt that we need the dark threads to see the brilliance of the lighter threads.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
So true.
So my story starts with being born into a grief-stricken family. So my brother passed away from leukemia at the age of 4, and he wouldn't like I wouldn't have been born or even thought of if it wasn't for him being sick and his passing. So I've kind of always grown up feeling like I was the one to make the family happy and bring the unit back together. And, it was difficult at times knowing that my parents really wanted to have, replace me to have another son. And our family name kind of finished at me. So, that was a big job.
Right from the beginning, isn't it?
But it really kind of framed who I am, that I always want to make people happy.
Yeah.
So I was born into trying to make people happy, which then kind of created, that's who I am. I make people happy. So, with my work career as well as yoga, I'm involved in tourism. So I, work with guests and customer service every day.
Making sure they have the best experience.
And really exceeding people's expectations. So it's kind of really, built who I am and where I am today. But so the loss of my brother was very difficult, obviously, on my parents. And that then caused my parents to divorce.
Okay.
And my father, absolutely incredible man who I really look up to, and he is 85 years old.
Beautiful.
So he just came down to the Gold Coast. He lives up in Mullaney, and he came down 2 weeks ago and spent 3 days with us, which is really lovely. I just love spending time with him. So, but I went and lived, my middle sister Mandy and I went and lived with my mum, and my older sister Sue went and lived with my dad.
Okay.
So that kind of separated our family a little bit. And then my mum was with another man, Ron, and my stepfather was not a nice man.
Okay.
So he mentally and emotionally abused my sisters, my mum, our whole family unit.
Yeah.
We pretty much grew up in that fight-flight mode, constantly walking around on eggshells. And, so that was very different from being with my father.
Wow.
But as, again, these darker shades, all formed a part of my journey, a part of who I am. So I don't look back with any regrets of what happened and things like that. But and then from growing up with my stepfather, my sisters and I, we would go and visit my dad on weekends and things, and we did grow up in the country, so we had horses and we had paddock bomb cars, so we grew up.
You found joy in other things.
Yeah, absolutely, and nature.
Yes.
I was going to say nature's calls you, doesn't it?
Definitely. If I'm ever feeling a little bit stressed or upset or whatever, then for me, just getting back to nature is really important. I love climbing mountains, going to waterfalls, or just going down to the beach. Like I saw you beautiful girls this morning.
The magic Miami walk.
The path of enlightenment.
So you found, because like you're saying about that living in fight or flight, when you have those adventures and things outdoors, you're kind of primed for that peacefulness that's out there, but also creating adventure as well.
Definitely.
You're in that space.
Yeah, definitely. And through my studies of yoga, I've really learnt about the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system, and by getting out in nature, by doing breath work, by doing yoga, all those beautiful things really just relax and calm your nervous system. So
it's a funny one, because even as a young girl, you're already kind of delving into that consciousness, that the part of you that's aware and conscious, without even knowing it. So you've got this thing where you're going home to mum and the stepdad, and you're having these experiences, intense experiences, and then you're going to dad and having these amazing, joyful, it's a beautiful balance of both. And so you're already opening up the awareness and the consciousness levels, even unbeknownst to you at that stage. But you're working out, oh wow, if I come here I can balance that out, and then I've got to go back there, but I'm feeling a little bit more fuller when I go back into that environment, and I've got some tools.
Definitely. And with that awakening, my intuition really started to kick in.
Beautiful.
So even from a young girl, I heard God speak to me. I didn't always want to hear. I didn't want to feel like the oddball, because I always sensed things. I always knew things were going to happen, and they would happen. Lots of things in my life have happened that I, sensed and knew about beforehand. So, that awakening was sometimes quite, I don't know, fearful.
Daunting.
And daunting. And I kind of didn't want it a lot of the times, but as I've got older now, it's actually served me really well.
Absolutely.
Just even recently in different work situations where something's gone wrong and I've picked it up straight away because I've sensed those red flags. I just know stuff's going to happen. So it's
And you're listening.
And I listen. So just being really conscious and aware of my environment and what's going on. Is,
and it helps to have support around that as well. Because I know that your relationships and everything have changed over the years as well. So to be able to have someone that backs you in those areas
100%.
helps listen to it more and more and more.
So my husband now, in my second marriage, he is my best friend. He is absolutely incredible. And we both have a huge faith. So We both pray together. We're just on the same page with everything. We really understand our morals, the way we bring up our children. Everything is just same page.
Yeah.
And, he's super fun, a little bit crazy at times.
Yep. Which we love.
Yeah, which good to have that.
Which is that really good balance.
Yeah.
I think if I had someone that was just always, on one
Crazy.
way, yeah, but he's definitely got really good balance, which balances me out as well. And just being able to do those beautiful walks together in the morning. We swim in the ocean most mornings. He'll do yoga with me.
Because he was at the workshop, he facilitated. Well, they supported you, and it was support. And I noticed how like that, as you said, he had your back and was making sure everything was going.
Definitely.
Then you could do what you needed to do for that.
So it's such a nice feeling knowing that I have that now.
Yeah.
So when you were younger, and you're saying about the fight or flight, and then the praying now, and listening to God, did you used to pray when you were younger? Like not like, was there religion in your life?
Yeah,
for any reason?
I did when I was younger. I had a few people pass away in my life when I was quite young. So my dad's dad, so my grandpa, and then a really close family friend as well. So I didn't really know what I was doing because we didn't really grow up in church or anything. But I just, because I always heard and heard things, I just intrinsically knew to
There was
speak.
something else, yeah.
And I would definitely always chat with my grandpa when I'd go to bed at night, and
that's beautiful.
Chat with another friend named Hildy, and and then I slowly, I remember, it's quite funny but not funny.
We know, we understand.
At one stage, I used to rattle off like nearly 15 people.
Yeah.
When I was young, that I knew that had then passed.
Yeah.
And I would be, so then I'd be talking to 15 different people and, saying, I hope you're safe and I hope you're okay and please look out for me and, all these different people. And obviously over the years that's grown now, so I combine it as everyone.
Yes.
But, it is a nice feeling, having that faith. I've had a couple of huge experiences in my life. I don't even know which one to start with, but one when I was at university, I dated a guy named Jack, absolutely incredible human, so kind, so caring, but we were really young. We did get engaged when I was at uni, and then I just wasn't sure of who I was. I was in my early 20s. Yeah. And he ended up committing suicide. So year 2000, and that really rocked my world.
Yeah.
So I wasn't with him at the time, but I had a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
I really felt like, if I was there for him, if I had kept in contact, that maybe I could have stopped that from happening. But that was the start of a lot of depression for me. But it was also the start of me finding yoga and finding ways to help with that sadness, with that anxiety. I remember going to a psychologist once and I'd never been before. I was mid-20s and I just explained that I'd had a panic attack, and she took me through breathwork. And she said, and if you're really desperate, just grab a paper bag, have one with you. And she just showed me how to, obviously breathe into a bag, and told me the benefits of breath work.
Wow.
And I was just like blown away, thinking, wow, I didn't think I had that so accessible to tap into, I really didn't understand.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah. So, and that was, mid-20s. So then that kind of really started my journey of going, wow, I've got this within me. I can help heal myself. I don't need antidepressants. I don't, and although, I understand if people do need to take those, but this was just a way for me to be able to.
Incredible realization.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking that too.
Way.
Yeah. How we have everything we need.
Yeah.
It's just how it becomes known to us.
Yeah, definitely. And then from there, I had my 2 boys. So I married Tony and had 2 beautiful boys, Saxon and Ryder. Yeah. And they are my absolute world. I love them to bits. And my intuition just was so on point at this time of my life, and I wasn't 100% happy in my marriage and in certain circumstances, but I was married.
Did you just feel like it was it? Did you just
I just thought, this is it. I have to put up with
Yes.
this. I can't not put up with this. I'm married now.
Yes.
I've
got kids.
Yep, and I have
responsibilities.
Children.
Yep.
This is
Tick, tick, tick.
this has to be my life, whether I'm happy or not.
Yes.
I have
Suck
to
it up.
Yeah.
Committed.
And then so when Ryder was born, this was a huge part of my life. So I don't know if you know much about this, Jo.
No.
Okay.
No.
So, so we were living in Cairns at the time, and I was in marketing and tourism, and everything was great. And then throughout, like, my pregnancy with Saxon was pretty good, and everything was great. And then Ryder's pregnancy, the whole time I was pregnant, was fantastic.
So you kind of thrived on the pregnancy.
Yeah, really good. And then I had Ryder at the Cairns private hospital, and I think on day 3 they said, you can go home now. So I was like, I didn't really feel like I was ready to go home, but I kind of wanted to get home as well. But I'd had to have a blood transfusion because the placenta was stuck. So it was a little bit of a traumatic birth. I have long births as well. So, I was quite tired, but I thought, I'll go home. I was missing Saxon and missing my family. I had both parents, so my mother-in-law and my mum there as well.
Yeah.
Took Ryder home from the hospital, and I just knew that something wasn't right. And I kept saying to my mum and my mother-in-law, something just not right with Ryder. And they were saying, no, he's just a baby. They sleep, they eat, they go to the toilet.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
And I said, no, but he's just sleeping for too long.
Oh.
And when he's feeding, he's looking like he's exhausted, he's just falling straight asleep. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what babies do.
Wow. So your intuition's telling you something, and everybody else is saying, no, we're not seeing it.
And
we're not feeling it.
Fobbing it off.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, I'm taking him back into hospital. So took him back into the Cairns private, went into the private hospital, and the main midwife said, I wasn't here when I'm the head midwife. I wasn't here when you were, giving birth, and while you were here, I was on this lovely holiday in Bali, And I was like, great. Okay. So she said, so I'll go over your file. I'll look at everything, and we can look at Ryder. So anyway, we go into a room, and she starts general chit chat with me and puts a few machines on Ryder. I didn't know what she was doing. Within 20 minutes, I had 10 doctors around me and Ryder. No explanation. Literally fear in doctors' eyes.
Oh, wow.
And Ryder's oxygen saturations were in the mid-50s, 60s.
What does that mean?
So our optimal oxygen saturations are 100.
Okay.
So we're pretty much 100. Brain damage can happen,
right?
From 50s.
Okay.
I don't know exactly
He was
you know,
being
what
oxygen
that is, but
deprived, he was being
he was
starved,
very
yeah.
oxygen deprived.
Right.
So they knew that something was not right.
Yes.
And hence why I was saying he seems
Yeah.
tired.
Yes.
He was a little bit blue, but Saxon was when he was born,
Yes.
so I kind of didn't, you know, worry about that too much because
Yes.
I knew that Saxon had that same thing and had to go under the lights and stuff when
Yeah.
he was first born. But yeah, so he, they basically, the doctors sat me down and called my then husband in and said, we need to do further testing. We think that he has a serious problem with his heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need to do, like, run some scans. We need to do an echogram and you know, get him organised. From there, I pretty much didn't hold him from that day
Wow.
for maybe 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
That's a big
Yeah,
leap
that's-
from...
And they had said if I didn't take him into hospital that day, that he
Oh, wow.
wouldn't have survived.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he would have probably just passed in his sleep at home,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't have really ever known. So that intuition, as I said
Yes.
earlier, you know, like I kind of used to not like knowing things,
Yes.
but
It's your
you
best
know,
friend.
it is my best friend.
Especially a mother's intuition too. I think
Oh,
it's the most
definitely.
powerful one of all. It's
Definitely.
like, with your kids, you just know.
Well,
Yeah.
literally, when you were said about being pregnant, I wanted to ask, did you find your intuition went next level with, you know, because that maternal instinct
Yeah,
is,
kicks in,
kicks
doesn't it?
in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, when
if
I
you're already that way.
when I was pregnant, I didn't.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I actually didn't. I thought that Ryder was a girl.
Yep.
Ryder came out boy with red hair
Oh, gorgeous.
Oh, it's so gorgeous.
and these most beautiful blue eyes. And yeah, so from that journey, we ended up, a private aircraft came to
gosh.
Cairns
Wow.
and airlifted us to Brisbane Hospital,
Okay. Wow.
where we spent basically 3 months
Yeah.
in hospital. I went from my marketing job then, and I was running a baby shop. I had my own business. I had about 10 staff.
Yeah.
So for me to just pack up,
Yes.
leave and take 3 months off was
Big crisis.
a big crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Ryder had his first heart surgery at a week old,
Wow.
and then through 2.5 weeks old, another major surgery. They went through his side because they knew that he was going to need lots of open heart.
Yeah.
So they didn't
Wow.
want to keep going through
Wow.
the front.
And it's the heart.
The
You know,
heart.
the heart. It's like,
Yeah.
On this tiny little
On
being.
this
Yes.
tiny little baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just
he...
tiny little baby, but big being by the sounds of it.
He is
Incredible.
incredible.
Yeah.
He is absolutely incredible. And today, you look at him, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, he's so full of life. You wouldn't know he's got anything wrong with him.
So
You
he's
know,
completely well now?
Yeah,
or?
he has his yearly checkups.
Yep.
Like he's actually due in February to go and see the cardiologist in Brizzy.
Yep.
But he's had about 4 or 5
Mm-hmm.
open heart surgeries now.
Gosh.
And I kind of lose track after a while.
Yeah.
So, but you can imagine the trauma
Oh, my God.
that not only Ryder went through,
Yeah.
his brother Saxon went
Yeah.
through, my ex-husband went through,
Yeah.
I went
Yes.
through.
Because I'm feeling like when you were talking about it, like the repeat of your brother's
Yes.
experience, isn't it? Like that childhood.
And my mum
Intense
came and was
experiences.
with me
Wow.
pretty much in the hospital, and she came and stayed with me for those, that first month. And that brought a lot of, memories back for her, being in
Wow.
the hospital with her son.
Yeah.
So, but that time really just cemented my faith.
Yeah.
And I had churches, I had people like praying all over the world.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't even know, but I would have letters sent to me. I'd
Oh.
have all these things. I had cars given to me to get around from
Yeah.
the hospital. I had just like this beautiful community of people support me and they were, saying this church is praying for me, or, this
how
group
beautiful.
is praying for
Yeah.
me. And, I honestly don't know what I would have done without having faith.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't understand if people, I understand that everyone has their
Yes.
own beliefs
Yes.
and everything, but for me personally, it's just a huge, help for me and my life to know that there's something bigger out there.
Absolutely. Yes. We had this conversation this morning about there's a lot of people, and maybe they're not sad, but there are a lot of people walking around that are really unaware of what's available, outside of the physical.
Definitely.
And it's the praying, and it's the asking, and it's the angels, and it's the cards, and it's the crystals. There's so much available to support us, that truly support us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When I say God, I'm very open.
Yes.
And I believe that there is the one. And whether that's Buddha, whether that's any philosophy or any being
faith,
any faith, there's definitely available.
That's so beautiful. Yeah,
it's just beautiful,
and it's real. It is tangible in the moments that you see, that you just talked about. Yeah, they're the moments that it's tangible. You can see it happening.
And it brings. And why wouldn't you want to lean into that space? Why wouldn't when in times when your heart is feeling so much, and to have the comfort of such a community around you? I mean, that is. Why would you not want to receive that?
Definitely.
It's a beautiful gift of humanity, isn't it? To love people that you don't even know with your prayers or with your thoughts, or
people from churches bringing me food. Just so giving. And it was a beautiful. So it was a beautiful time,
although it was a heart-wrenching time. Literally.
Definitely.
Really powerful. So you've come through that, like over the years. So how when was his last?
So his last one would have been, he's just turned 16.
Wow.
I know. So he's driving on his learners now.
Hold you little face.
It's mum's turn for her heart to have a little workout.
But he's a big character.
Yeah.
Both my boys are really kind, gentle souls. Very funny. Ryder is hilarious. He wants to be an actor. Yeah. A Jim Carrey or he's just he's really quite funny.
Yeah.
So
he kind of makes people happy, like you used to make people happy.
Definitely. Yeah.
And also, I'm sure from what he's been through, and whether he's aware of this or not, it's like, well, fuck it, I'm really lucky to have this life. I'm going to just live it fully.
He really has that attitude, especially that fucker. He lives his life.
Yeah.
And, it's hard for me because people would think, I'd need to wrap him up in cotton wool, and I really didn't.
Yeah.
I let him be.
Beautiful.
And even now, I let him be. I let him go and jump off Tally Bridge.
Yeah.
I let him go and, be a kid and experience things. Obviously, there's certain things that, he just has to be conscious with his health and make sure he's, eating well, which he doesn't probably do enough of. And
teenager.
Yeah, he's a teen, yeah.
And did you find your breath work was a factor there as well? Because you speaking about your faith, and was your breath work a part of what you kind of pulled in as a tool?
Absolutely. And even teaching, Ryder, before he'd have an operation, I would say to him, remember your breath.
Yeah.
And go within, really feel that breath, just, so teaching those tools to the kids.
Yeah.
They probably don't really do it as much as I would like for them to be, practicing. And
they never like what their parents teach them. And you could be the best breathwork teacher in the world, and they're still not going to be it's funny.
Yeah. But they both have a strong faith.
Yeah.
And my husband now, Damien, so he has 5 boys.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So you've got 7 boys.
7 boys.
Whoa.
All absolutely beautiful and all with faith.
Wow.
Every single one of the boys.
7 boys.
7 boys.
That's wild.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
I know. So Damien started quite young.
So he's not 70?
And so his older boys in particular, but all of his boys are like his best friends.
That's so great.
Yeah, which is really nice.
That
so
is lovely.
we've got a big, like, our Christmases are crazy.
I love it.
You know, so the boys range from 25 down to 16.
Yeah.
7 of them.
Unreal.
And then we've got their girlfriends
Yes.
mixed in.
So they're like a little tribe of their
Yeah,
own.
that's
Imagine
so
the
cool.
dynamic
Yeah.
between all those boys, as
Yeah.
boys do, and, you know, like your
That's
boys.
an awakening in its
Play.
own, isn't it? Like, I mean, I live with 11 others, majority family
11.
members. Yeah.
Crazy.
And it was like, yay, when we first moved in. And then after about a month, it was like, oh,
There's so much going on.
because, you know, and I remember Trev saying to me, honey, if we want to learn and grow, we're in the right environment. And I was just like, I had to view it like that.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what it's like for you. And then adding the step parent, which I don't even like that word. I like to look at it as more of a bonus parent
Yes.
and bonus kids.
Definitely.
To look at it like, hey, I'm put on the earth to take this role.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel blessed to be in their lives. Is difficult being a step parent at
Yeah.
times. And, you know, we did have a few of them living with us, and, you know, teenage boys, they're messy. And then their girlfriends, they're messy.
Yeah.
And when I'm working full time and, you know, coming home and not only having to do myself, but then having to do, you know, cleaning for others, it's like, oh, come on, I can't do this. So, yeah, that's difficult. But, yeah, no, they're all amazing kids. And Damien's parents are absolutely beautiful as well. So really blessed with his family, and all
That's
on the
lovely.
same page as well.
That
So we're
helps.
all, and in these times
with
what's been going on in the last couple of years,
yes,
all being on the same page.
that is really helpful.
so
I can't.
good.
I'm deciphering what you're saying
Yes.
here, and it's like,
Yes.
I get it. It's like that's so helpful.
Yeah.
That's really lovely. Do we want to move on?
Well,
Yeah.
I guess, because we've kind of gone from, you know, growing up as a child in a blended family yourself to having a blended family as an adult. But so when Ryder was young and having his experiences with the surgery, like the shock, I guess, of finding out about what was ahead of him as far as healing his body, where did you sort of go to there? Like, did you stay in your up in Cairns, or did you have to relocate?
Yeah,
How did that change things?
Yeah, that really changed life. So, although I was happy in Brisbane, I wanted the best surgeons.
Yeah.
So I did my research. So we moved to Melbourne to go to the Royal Children's. So from Cairns
Big
To
change.
Melbourne.
to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And I was...
That's depressing in itself.
Absolutely.
Hey, come on! Only because of the last couple of years, when we love you, we're so you're so brave.
Melbourne.
Yeah. Well, I'm a beach girl.
Yes.
And I love my ocean
Yes.
swims. I love being in heat.
Yeah.
So to go to Melbourne, I went, okay, well, if I am going to move here, then we're going to Torquay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we
fabulous.
bought a house in Torquay,
Yeah,
and I
nice.
really
Such
wish
a
I
life.
still had that.
Yes. I bet.
Because it's literally tripled in price.
Yeah.
And they're a beautiful community too, don't
I
they?
loved
It's-
I loved
so good.
growing the boys being able to grow up there. So we had a beautiful mothers group.
Yeah.
It was really supportive throughout Ryder's operations at the Royal Children's. And you know, we were like 50 minutes away, but it was worth the drive. You know, to go back to a nice beach house in Torquay and
Home.
and home. So that was good.
So with all of this happening in your world, where did you draw from? Like spiritually, we know you had faith and you prayed and did that. So were you doing the yoga then? Were you breath work? Were you engaging yourself in all of those modalities there?
Well, I did, but I didn't. So I think I mean, throughout the first couple of years of Ryder, I was definitely traumatized.
Yes.
I was
just doing what
just
you needed
doing
to do.
what I needed to do. Yeah, people used to, you know, tell me how strong I was, and I was like, "What do you mean strong? Like I'm caving. Like I'm trying my best, but I don't feel strong."
Yeah.
But then, you know, like people would say, "Oh my goodness, like, you know, what you're doing you know, like even with, you know, I expressed for the first 6 months every day because I just wanted to be able to give Ryder,
The best.
you know, the best nutrition. And, you know, that was like so taxing on me, you know, with those silly pumps that you used to have to do.
I remember those.
And it hurt and that was horrible. So, you know, all that stuff. So, you know, the first probably even 5 years, to be honest, was a bit of a blur on my own health. And I did, you know, definitely had a bit of, you know, depression and anxiety and stuff, but I just had to keep going. So that fight and flight was really a constant. I was always pretty healthy though, like health conscious, and, you know, I grew up as a gymnast, so that yoga just kind of flew on as an adult, but,
so did you go to yoga? I mean, it's hard to find time when you've got young children and surgeries.
I didn't really have time, but I did a lot of different things with the kids active-wise. But I remember my very first yoga class, actually funny, it was before kids. And so I would have been in my early 20s. My sister took me. And we all had to lay down. They put us in Shavasana at the start and lay down, and then, you know, the teacher was telling us to go within, and I was like, oh my goodness, get me out of here.
Who's this crazy lady?
What does that mean?
Yes.
I don't
Supposed to feel inside me? What?
I didn't want to go within. That's
Yes.
scary
That's-
to actually know. That would actually really frighten me, to take that time and just breathe and be conscious of who I am. I was really quite fearful of that.
This is so beautiful, because this is what I was just saying before. There's so many people that are so unaware of exactly what you just said, or they're fearful. It's like, I don't want to go in there. What if I don't like what I see or feel?
That was exactly it. I didn't think I liked myself.
Yeah.
And to go within was going to be confronting.
Yeah.
I was going to have to deal with issues and
things that you put away.
Things that I
when
put
you're a long
away.
time.
Yeah.
When you want to be the happy person and not.
So initially yoga did scare me. And then after Ryder, you know, like after his surgeries, and I did start to have time for me, and my intuition was really strong, and I really just felt like I needed to get back in to this. I started my
So something happened, didn't it, in that moment where you were like, what? I'm not going there, but something actually.
Yeah, and I didn't do a lot of classes before I started. I just went, I'm going to do my teacher training.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
very cool.
I did my teacher training over a long period of time. Like, it took me a good 5 years.
Yeah.
Just because of my lifestyle. I was running a resort. I was 2 kids. I was busy.
Was this still in Melbourne?
This was now Gold Coast.
Okay, so now
yeah. So once we kind of had Ryder sorted and he'd had most of his surgeries, we then came here and knew that this was going to be home.
Yeah.
So,
And you still with first husband then?
I was still with first husband.
Yes.
Yeah. But we weren't overly happy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think, you know, with all these experiences.
Yeah.
Well,
it makes or breaks, doesn't it?
It really was.
Yeah.
It was really difficult. And we were kind of going on different paths.
Yeah.
Did he have faith as well?
And
was he someone of faith? Or?
He did, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did, and he still does. Like, he's a good person deep down, but also gave me a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. I was fight flight that whole marriage. He used to say, at least I'm random, at least you never know what you're going to get.
Mixing it up a bit.
and
What does that mean?
Yeah, it was again like my stepfather.
Yes.
I was always on eggshells, and I wouldn't know. He did drink a lot, but and that was something that really gave me anxiety from my stepfather as well. So, there was
funny how the lessons come around, again, for you to have another look at. Okay, what do I need to learn here with this And it might, you know, could have been anyone, but it just happened to be the
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah. So our separation was extremely traumatic. I'm talking next level traumatic.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I won't go into those details, but horrible. I then was a single mum with two young kids.
Yeah.
And
On
I
the
was
Gold Coast.
broken.
Yeah.
I was absolutely broken. So I then, you know, and after everything I'd been through, I just thought, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah.
I just did not see that coming at all. And yeah, you know, I had my part to play as well, so there's no blame, but wow, it was big.
Yeah.
So I was pretty much forced to pack everything up, take my two kids, move away.
Yeah.
And I went and moved to the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
And yeah, that was actually really quite cool. Like I met one of my best friends there, Sarah, who's also a yoga instructor. She's similar path to me. We ended up living together for a little while, and yeah, we're still, you know, really good friends now.
Sisterhood
so
kind.
yeah,
Yeah.
sisterhood. She's
Yeah.
one of my top 5.
Yeah.
I was saying to Joe before,
Yeah.
like the people that you have in your top 5, like you're the sum total of the people that you
Yes.
hang around with, who
Yeah.
you associate with.
So true.
So good to have those good people, good relationships.
Yes.
You
You know, it's funny because I know you said before that when you were going through the stuff with Ryder that you know, you had people around you saying, wow, you're so strong and you're, you know, this and that, and you found it hard to accept that. I see why people say that because I look at you and I know, I don't know you that well, but from the external looking in, it's like you've always been a woman that's been very resilient. It's like you've just picked up, and as far as business goes and stuff like that, you've literally just got your shit together.
Yeah.
You haven't, you know, stayed too long in a situation that's brought you and like encapsulated you. It's like so there's so much that I don't think you even see in yourself that's so powerful and so beautiful.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to acknowledge that because it's like you are so resilient and the way that you handle yourself is just with so much grace. Yeah,
Exactly. That's the word.
Yeah,
That's big.
it's really beautiful, and I don't think you see that in yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's always nice to get compliments.
Yeah, so just listening to you, it's like, wow, you're, you know, even to pack up your kids and move to the sunny coast because you just felt like that was the thing to do is really huge.
Oh, it was huge.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was.
But you
know,
had to do that.
I
You
had to do
somewhere
it.
inside you
Yeah.
just knew
I
that.
knew that
yeah.
that was it.
Yeah.
And it did. And then I went to India for a month.
Wow.
From
wow.
yeah, so I was on the sunny coast, and then so I had the kids pretty much full time, but I said to my ex-husband, I need a break.
Yeah.
I need some time out. And that's when my yoga, my whole philosophy, everything just, you know, like,
crystallised.
yeah, it was
Wow.
amazing. I loved India.
This is what I love. This is the part that I love. It's
The
like,
pilgrimage.
yeah, and
It was
but
incredible.
Not only that, it's like the one of our questions is, what have you had to leave behind?
Yes.
Some of those things are relationships.
Yep.
And although that was big and traumatic, sometimes leaving that can open up so much more.
Definitely.
And as soon as you said India, and I loved it, you can feel the expansion in that
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
It's like
And
something.
coming home for you.
Yeah.
It was so incredible.
Yeah.
And I think I cried every day in India. Like it was, you know, it wasn't all happy, but it was just a
Free.
freedom. It was beautiful. It was everything you could ever imagine about India was there.
It's
I'm gonna
kind of a
feel
raw
that.
humanity, isn't it? Like that's the impression I get is just so much raw
So
humanity.
beautiful.
And
Yeah, and it
Waking
really
you
puts you into perspective of your life. Like seeing, you know, you're driving in the crazy traffic and you're seeing families living on the streets, on the side of the road. But you look into the eyes of those little kids and they are so happy.
I know, I've heard that so
They
many
are
times.
so happy.
Yeah.
And you think, wow. You know, and you look at what we have here and if, you know, people aren't happy, and it really kind of does give you that perspective on life.
Well, isn't that where yoga originated from? It's like, so
Yeah.
we get that when you go and you sit in a class, you go within.
Definitely.
Find the happiness within. It's
Yeah.
like you can see it, like you said, you know, everywhere you go in India, it's just there.
Yeah.
Because that's their religion, isn't it? That's their faith.
Yeah. And spirit is everywhere
Yeah.
in India. Yeah. You just feel it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So that was a big turning point for you then. Yeah.
So were you doing
Yeah.
retreats over there, or learning, I should
so-
say, a student?
I think with my retreats, you know, when you're going through stuff, you can really help others.
Yeah.
So I'd actually started, my very first retreat was back in, getting the year right here. It was a long time ago. It was probably actually like 12 years ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was before I went to India. But because of I love people, born to make people happy, really always wanted the best in people. With all the situations that I dealt with, I felt like I could help people. So divorce, suicide, my brother's death, you know, my son being born with, you know, severe congenital heart disease, you know, like all these things. I was like, wow, if someone comes to me and they've got these issues, I can understand them, I can help them. So
I've got tools.
Resonate.
yeah, I've got
Yeah.
tools
Yeah.
and really resonate with them.
Yeah.
So I started doing retreats, and they just really, they took off, and it was a passion. I didn't do it for money. Like it was, you know, I for people that make money out of retreats, I really look up to them.
We've heard this. So many people say that. It's so hard. You don't make money
You
out of
don't make
retreats.
money
No.
out of it. I mean,
just
people
for
do.
the love.
It
Yeah.
is definitely for the love, for the time that
Yes.
goes into putting them together, you know, for all that you give, for, you know, the cost of the venue,
Yeah.
for everything that's put in, but what you get out of it yourself.
Yeah.
Like one of the retreats I did was a lot of inner child work.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous.
And we did things like we jumped off telephone poles, you know, like zip
Wow.
lining
Yes,
and
yes.
doing flying foxes and doing all that sort of stuff. And the transformation in people doing things like that on retreat was just phenomenal. It was,
Wow.
yeah, it was so good.
I've just read something, and this reminded me just when you were saying that, because it's putting yourself out of your comfort zone. And it was Matthias De Stefano, who I love at the moment, and he's talking about cracking the brain. And I'm listening, going, "What does that mean?" And he said, "Well, for us to learn, and for us to break free of our limiting behaviours, we need to crack our brain, and the only way we can do that is through," and he did say, life-threatening things, you know, or literally putting yourself so far out there in the fear stakes that you're actually cracking the cells in your brain, which open up the cells where we start to remember who we really are. And it was just like, I was just having so much resonance listening to it, going, yeah, that's why they say, you know, the magic is outside of our comfort zone.
Definitely.
Hence you putting these ladies up on zip lines.
Yeah.
Feeling the fear and
And
doing it
yeah,
anyway.
Cracking
No.
open and having remembrance of who they are, or remembering the trauma and letting it go.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
having all the support of the other retreat
Yes.
participants there. Like, you know, there was one girl in particular, you know, she was at the top of that zip line and she was just like, I can't do this. I
Yeah.
cannot do this. And, you know, but all the people on retreat just, you know, supporting her and saying, you can do this. And, you
Yes.
know, there was tears and there was times of, and when she did
Ah.
do it, she
Everyone,
just, the release, you could just see it all over her, you know, she just felt this sense of freedom, like, wow, I didn't think I was ever going to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
what can I do next?
Yes.
What's,
How
what's
epic is
available to
that?
me now?
Expansion.
Yeah.
And isn't it bizarre how that one person feels like, oh my God, I'm ruining it for everyone. I'm so scared, all these kind of things. But it's the biggest gift to everybody because it pulls everyone into the same space. And everyone feels the same joy when that person achieves
Yeah.
such an
Definitely.
opening and the cracking open.
That's so beautiful. I love that. And we know ourselves that, you know, sometimes you have to face the, you know, leaving somebody or losing somebody or, you know, all of those things that we really don't want to have to go through, but that's the cracking of the brain, or the,
Yeah.
you know, where we start to realize the capacity of who we truly are at a soul level, what we're capable of.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I read something just a couple of days ago about the egg, and when the egg is broken from the outside, it's an ending, it's death. But when the egg, the shell, breaks from the inside, it's the beginning, it's a new life.
Oh,
And I read it a few times. I was like, and I was like, that's so powerful, and exactly what you're just saying. Like you crack open and you begin. It's almost like a new you gets to start, doesn't it?
Different, just looking at the different perspectives on things as well. Like one of my favourite things with when I'm teaching yoga is, to talk about the lotus flower. So the lotus flower being, the most beautiful flower, but each petal is opened individually. And in order for that lotus flower to bloom, it has to grow in that deep, dirty mud. And it can't grow without that darkness. It can't grow without that mud. And I always kind of put that to our human experience of, you may be feeling like you're in the mud, but it's the one way to grow. You will reach the light. You just have to take a step at a time, like each petal opening, until you reach the light.
That's so beautiful. It's a beautiful analogy, and they smell divine as well.
So
exquisite.
And the fact that they don't last long, like when you pick them, they last like a day or something. You just can't. They're not supposed to be picked. They're not supposed to be picked.
You're supposed to sit there.
Just
with
enjoy
them.
Yeah.
So was India like a cracking open for you? Like when you felt the calling to go there, you started doing retreats. You went to India, obviously, like to connect into spirit yoga.
Definitely
learning.
It was. I would highly recommend anyone that is wanting to teach yoga, or even just be with spirit, or experience any kind of transformation, to go over to India. It is such a journey. It's a lot of people say with India you'll either love it or hate it. I think there's parts throughout when you're there that is, you hate and love it at the same time,
which is perfect.
It's chaotic, and it's mad, but there's so much beauty there as well. So
so no comfort zone.
And I read a lot of my yoga study books while I was over there, and it really just cemented my the study for me and my philosophy. It just allowed me to really have that time to get the best out of my teaching.
When you're in the bubble, it helps, doesn't it? Because it's just you've got no outside influence, you've got nothing else to do but to be in the bubble and to embrace and just pop yourself fully in there.
Having the all the environment around you, that's and the food and the smells, and I went to Rishikesh and the Ganges and all the beautiful places, and did yoga on the Ganges. So
that's amazing. That's so cool.
So kind of filling your cup a bit after all those big years. Because it doesn't feel like you're sort of going, I was broken, I was traumatized, I was, all those kind of painful things that you step out of your everyday existence for. You really, what you're talking about, you're connecting into that chaotic space that is India. And feeding your lotus.
Utilizing it. Feeding your lotus, I love that. That is so cool. Did you
just reach enlightenment?
Absolutely.
And that's that strength that you were talking about. See you as a strong person.
Pick yourself up and what am I going to do now? So once you're home and you've got all this knowledge and you're now feeling super confident in your yoga and you've gained all this amazing knowledge. Did you notice anything happening around you when, you at this stage, I can only imagine you're quite aware of the intuition's strong, this is happening. Did you notice anything else happening around you? I know in the last couple of years, for instance, a lot has happened in our world that we're woken up to. So in those moments, because it was almost like a new Carolyn come back from India, did you notice anything else happening around you? Was there any friends that you kind of felt you didn't resonate with as much anymore? Or
100%.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, my connections, that was a big thing. And you know, I think that the people that, you know, are brought into your life are brought there for a reason. And once I started in this, you know, space, all those beautiful souls were connecting with me. So I have some of the most amazing friendships with all the same page people. We all, you know, resonate and have the same beliefs, and, you know, just all the fun different festivals and things we would go to and do yoga together. All that was like some of the best times of my life.
Yeah.
You know, connecting with these beautiful people.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like a new Carolyn come back. Yeah. Was
Jeff,
it like
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's like my whole story and where I got to was all meant to be to get to this Caroline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
So
So
you came back to the sunny coast. Yeah. And then work-wise, it was tough, like running retreats, as I was saying. It was tough. I wasn't making money. I was teaching yoga. I was working in a hotel. But at university, I did a degree in tourism, hospitality and marketing. So, and I just know the industry. I love the industry.
Yeah.
I love people. And I just knew coming back to the Gold Coast, I would find work more easily. And and then as soon as I kind of put it out there, I was working for I was actually moved to the Gold Coast. This is quite funny. And then I ended up getting a job on the Sunshine Coast at an incredible resort.
Yes, I remember you.
So the Ridge at Mullaney, beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful property, and running a few retreats and things there.
Unreal. Wow.
But it was throughout the COVID, so a lot of that I could work remotely. And so I was still here on the Gold Coast and just having to go up there a couple of times a week, but just with the fuel and with the, you know, taxing, being away from my husband here.
Yeah.
So then now I'm running a beautiful little boutique motel in Mermaid Beach.
Yes.
And it's absolutely lovely. So I'd love to be doing more of my passion and teaching yoga and doing more retreats, and I know that will come.
Yes. Yeah.
But for now, I'm really happy. Living at Mermaid's incredible.
Yeah.
Being able to, you know, being on
so
the
lucky.
beach and swim in the ocean every day and, you know, do my own practice of yoga and get, you know, there's some amazing teachers on the Gold Coast. So being able to go as a student, I'm really enjoying as well. And, you know, yoga teachers, you're a forever learner.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever, you know, you can never know everything. And sometimes, you know, I used to, because I'm a little bit of a control freak. Sometimes I think, I'm not good enough. I can't do this asana as good as that person, or... You know, but now just stepping back and going as a student, it kind of is, it's really nice. I'm really enjoying just being the student.
Yeah.
Because that's one of our other questions, isn't it? What do you do to support yourself for staying in your space and in your lane?
Yeah, so my diet's a big one. I definitely love, just in front of me here, the strawberries and blackberries, nice and nutritious.
And just for people, because I know you're listening, you're not watching, not yet anyway. Carolyn's body is like next level.
Yeah.
It's like
So
fit
toned.
and healthy and toned, and she's gorgeous and
Well nurtured.
and she's 70. That's amazing.
I'm actually, my birthday is in 2 weeks.
Oh, no way.
And it's the last year of my 40s. I am so like scared of next year.
Really? No.
I know.
The
I'm
most
loving
exciting
it,
times
but-
are ahead for you.
I know. I kind of still feel in my 20s. Though,
Yeah, no,
sometimes.
absolutely. And
like-
you look like you're still in your
Oh,
20s.
yeah. Thank
No,
you.
I mean, age
But-
is nothing.
Yeah, age is nothing. But but I'm kind of proud as well that I have,
Yeah.
been able
You
to,
should be.
Keep fit and
Yeah.
keep healthy. I eat pretty well. My husband's an amazing cook.
Oh, that always helps.
Yeah,
hey?
he's so good. He's incredible. I could rate about him, and
Yeah.
he actually said to me, he goes, "So what are you going to say about me? You're going to say I'm amazing?"
That's so beautiful.
You're amazing.
And yes, Damien, you're amazing.
Oh,
So how did you two meet? Like, because
Funny story actually. So he's a school teacher.
Okay.
And he was actually a teacher at the school when I was on the Gold Coast with my ex-husband here when my kids were little. So prep in grade 1, he was at the school as a teacher. And Saxon's best friend was Damien's youngest
Oh,
son.
how gorgeous.
At school.
Wow.
So we knew each other and we connected. And funny story, I can say this now. Now that we're married.
Yeah.
But he said to one of the teachers, "Oh, who's that Caroline?
Oh.
Is she married?" And then the teacher said, "Yeah, she's married." And he was like, "Oh, damn." And obviously then friend zoned, and we were friends, and he came camping with us once with his boys. I know. So he was so supposed to be in my life.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah.
When you hear that, yeah.
And we had, we were just friends, and I never ever thought anything other than that. But it wasn't till years down the track. And then, I don't know, we were good old Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook friends. And I just reached out to him with a message and said, I'm moving back to the Gold Coast. And then that's when he kind of said, "Oh, well, about time." I said, "I've always kind of had a thing for you. So let's go on a date."
Yeah, that's so sweet.
Timing
is everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And and then when we connected, we just knew
But
Yeah.
to have that friendship between you,
the
I guess, is a
friendship, it was
beautiful
really
flow
nice,
in, isn't it?
and
Yeah.
knowing each other's families as
Yeah.
well. And he had a very similar path to mine with his ex-wife, so we really had that connection and understanding of what we'd kind of been through. And
And also what you wanted more.
Yeah,
you
what
know,
I wanted, yeah.
what I wanted now. and
definitely
moving forward. Yeah.
I had a list.
Yeah.
It was a big list.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, good on you. We're liking these lists. We're hearing
Yeah.
about these lists a lot lately. It's about
Yeah.
manifesting and
that was a part of my little
Yeah.
thing today was manifesting, because I truly did manifest, Damien.
yeah.
And I have really learnt manifesting. Wow.
Powerful. Hey.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
If you really want something bad enough, manifest it and it will come.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that, in saying that, the negative flip of that, and this is the thing, if you're constantly thinking about something negative or, the self-talk, that monkey mind,
Yeah.
I have to pull myself up every single day.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even know how many times a day, but I pull myself up and stop myself from
Yeah.
that negative self-talk. It constantly happens to me. And,
To all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
thankfully I know I have the tools to be able to go, stop that self-talk, move forward.
Yeah.
And really have that positive self-talk, because, the more what you think is what you get.
Absolutely.
Do you feel, because we've talked about this a bit, like with conditioning, and some of our guests, with like childhood experiences and things, as you say, those traumas, do you feel that's like a little bit of that seeding that happens, or conditioning as adults, that little part of us, that old part of us that's still there, hearing those negative things about ourselves, or
Yeah, definitely it's a pattern.
Yeah.
And how I was kind of brought up, and everybody has that negative self-talk. It is more of human nature than positive. And that's why it is so important to, you know, learn these different tools to be able to, you know, pull yourself out of that. I think I'm really grateful for, you know, all the different experiences, and I'm grateful for where I am and who I am today.
Because of all of that.
Because of all of that.
Absolutely. And you know, it's funny, I did a post just on the negative thoughts this morning, because when the energy shifts on the planet, like lots of things happen, like there's planets moving, and, you know, there's retrogrades, and there's all types of crazy stuff happening. Sometimes the negative energy can be amped up. And I feel like that the last few weeks it's been fully amped up, and there's been a lot of like negative energy around, and a lot of that comes through in thoughts, you know. Definitely. And we need to be so aware of that, and being able more to be the witness and the observer of our thoughts instead of letting them rule us. That's the kind of the bottom line, isn't it? It's being able to say, no, fuck off. That's not me. That's not me. I don't think like that. Joe doesn't think like that. You know, Joe's driving this bus today. You can get out of here, kind of thing. It's interesting.
And as a people person too, it's a difficult thing, isn't it, to sometimes own whether it's yours or what's going on around you, isn't it? You know, because you're sensitive.
I'm very sensitive. And I do take things personally. So if, you know, even in the work situation, you know, if there is something that's happened, or, you know, a guest experience hasn't been great or whatever, you know, I really take that
to heart.
And I'm learning.
Can't please everyone.
Absolutely. But I also think that is a little bit of a gift as well, because, you know, it does make you more aware and more sensitive to, you know, people's needs, and you know, just being able to, you know, ask, you know, what people want, and how can you assist and make their experience better, and
how lovely. Like, just to gain another perspective, you know, because my view, your view, all of our views are so different from each other. We'll move on. This is wonderful, thank you. So we've gone over the things you have to give up, change, and we've talked about the things you want us to support yourself. What does 2023 hold for Carolyn Bird?
Wow, this has really been on my mind the last 2 weeks. So Jamie and I have sat down. We literally did a calendar yesterday of our fitness regime. So we sat out and we went, okay, Mondays. What are our Mondays? Are they a beach walk? Are they what are we doing? We just started at Pizzy pool there. So we started swimming laps. We're kind of putting it on a calendar so that every day of the week we know what we're doing. So really start that morning routine. I can't stress enough.
We love it too. Don't we?
How important that is to start your day.
Well, there's some mornings that I don't want to get up. Like Amanda texts me walking with a question mark nearly every morning, and it goes off at 5, and I look at it and I'm like, I'd like to just roll over, but I know I'll roll over and my mind will start. My mind will go, Joe, come on, you know you love to walk, you know you love the sunrise, and so I'm up. I just get up.
Well, even yesterday, because Damien being a teacher, he went back yesterday, so it kind of throws that when he's on holidays, it throws our routine out of whack. So then now with yesterday, I said, come on, we're starting our routine, get up. And the alarm goes on at like 5:30 anyway, 5:40, I'm still smacking the alarm. And then he's like, oh, what time is it? And we're both like, oh, do we get up? And they went, and luckily we both support each other, so let's
stay in bed.
we sometimes do that. But no, yesterday we really made that conscious effort and said, no, this is the start of our routines. We're gonna promise ourselves that we're gonna really make an effort to start our days right and get that. So 2023 is all about that for us.
Beautiful.
All about, and just aligning with our values on, if we're telling ourselves to do something, we do it.
Yeah.
You know, not making...
Commitment.
Commitment. Yeah. So yeah, definitely fitness. We love travel, so although I work really, really hard and don't get much time off, travel is my absolute passion. Like, I love to travel.
Yeah. And you've got to have that joy.
Yeah.
There's got to be that balance. If you're
yourself.
working really hard, you've got to be able to allow yourself
Yeah.
some joy and travel, and if that's what brings you joy.
Yeah.
And you've got everyone travelling to you, so it's kind of nice
Yeah.
to reverse
Yeah, definitely.
and skip off somewhere.
So kind of even this year planning like my calendar of travel, because I only get 3 days off a month.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
So I work 7 days a week, 3
Wow.
days off a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the tourism industry, when you're managing a property, that's
Yes.
the industry. So, you know, I love it, but you need to be organised. I need to make sure, you know, but people look at my life sometimes, they're like, oh, you're always away.
Yeah.
Because when I do go away,
Yeah.
I go away and I make it, you know, like we're thinking, we've got a van, so we've decked out our van, and you
That's
know,
so freeing, isn't it?
Yeah.
oh, it's so free. We
Up
just we can park anywhere. We
Yeah.
get the best views,
Oh, I
and
love it.
you know, Damien surfs, so we often just, you know, pull up to a surf break, and he'll go out for a surf. I'll
Yeah.
do yoga, and you know, it's just having that freedom to go anywhere.
That's so cool.
And then just kind of planning out. I want to get back to Vanuatu. I love Vanuatu and have a really good friend that lives over there, Uncle Terry, who I've really missed a
Oh, how
lot
beautiful.
over over the whole COVID thing. So to be able to travel over there, I'm really looking
Excited.
forward to that. And so travel, health, fitness, my kids. So my Saxon, who's 18 now,
Wow.
he's wanting to go overseas to Canada and do the ski fields,
Yes.
the snow season.
Yes.
So and spread his wings. So I've been spending all my time doing his CV, writing his cover letters,
Yep.
and doing different little applications for him at the moment. And he's going to try and just get into the ski season here in Thredbo, or one of
Nice.
to start off for this season.
Yep.
So, and then do Canada. And then Ryder has 2 years left of school, so he goes into year 11, year 12.
Wow.
So we kind of feel like we've got our 2-year plan of being what we're doing now and doing it well,
Yes.
and having that safe comfort and security for Ryder to finish his final years of school.
Nice.
Damien's kids are all out of home and working full time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is really good.
He looks really young. He must have
Yeah.
started when he was like
He
about
did.
13 or
12.
something.
He was 18, 19.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy. So
But how great is that now?
To have
And
young children
well,
and be young
yes,
yourself.
and
Or
still be young.
grown-up children, I should say.
And still be young, yeah.
and have his kids as his best friends.
Yeah.
It's so great.
That's really
they're-
special.
and they're beautiful. So, but his youngest two were still kind of, you know, soul searching a little bit, and his youngest in particular, we're looking at his, you know, career, and you know, he's kind of wanting to do a bit of travel and do some things as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just, you know, trying to guide them all
Yeah.
on the right path. And his kids are all incredible. They have such an incredible work ethic. I
A
feel
nice balance.
totally blessed to have them.
Great.
Yeah,
All those
in my
and
life.
beautiful males all around you.
Yeah,
that's
how
cool.
cool
That
that
is wild, yeah.
And beautiful girlfriends too. They've
Yeah.
really got some lovely, you know, long
Yes.
girlfriends.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
with them, like, very loyal. They're all very
I was going to
loyal.
say, that's
Like
a beautiful
their dad.
sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. So basically 2023 for you is about balance.
Well, I've got
Yeah.
3 words: commitment to self.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
in doing that is balance in how you look after everybody else.
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
really lovely.
definitely.
Love that.
We've kind of rounded things off. Is there anything you wanted to add that you may have?
Well, I've got my final little piece here that I wrote
Carolyn's
down.
written a little mini diary book to share with us.
Yes.
And we've had so much fun just
What did I put here? That we are the sum total of the people we have met along our life's journey, be they good, bad, or otherwise.
Yeah, that's so true.
All of these relationships train us, they teach us, and we learn from every encounter we have. I like to think of them as divine appointments.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that's the name. That's the name of the podcast. Right there. Love that.
And I've come to realise that struggles, traumas, divorce, although these are truly hard, they're also necessary lessons to learn along the road to discovering your true or higher self.
Oh, yeah.
I reflect back to the opening metaphor of how our lives are a beautiful tapestry of all the hurts, trials, successes and victories. It's easy sometimes to get sidetracked by the darker shades within your masterpiece. However, without these dark contrasts, you really can never see the true light of what God has planned for your life.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for coming in and being so vulnerable and sharing your journey with us. And
With such light. Like,
Yeah.
it feels like we've covered some very deeply personal experiences.
And I didn't
but
even
such a
cry.
lightness.
I know.
The tissues.
I nearly did. At the beginning, I was like, this is going to be a tough one. It was really beautiful.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me on. I think what you're both doing is incredible, and so nice for women to connect and to be able to provide these podcasts for people is really special. So thank you.
Thank you. It's such just a constant joy, really. That when you were talking before about the community that was there when Ryder was a baby, and just what we kind of feel. I was feeling that a little bit about the community that's like yourself today, and beautiful guests that we've had. It's a community, and there's such an incredible group of people, women, but the stories, give us so much nourishment, I think, when they're shared. Don't they? So
definitely.
It's like freeing it out, and other people resonate so much with it. It's like it makes them feel like, I suddenly don't feel like I'm alone, or I'm
not the only one.
I'm not the only one, exactly. And that's what's most important about the podcast.
And the breathing at the start, I feel like that just carried all the way through.
It did.
We've just been really mellow.
Yeah, we have been very mellow.
The vibe has been just beautiful.
It's been really beautiful.
It's probably Carolyn.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely, it was her.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening, and remember, all links to our guest are in the notes. Leave us some comment here or message us on Instagram how our guest today connected with you, or perhaps something you wish to share. A special thank you to the blissful Ksenia Luki for our theme song. Joe and I will be with you next week.
Bye.
Ciao.
She teaches me lessons, and boy does she sing. Her voice sways like a hummingbird, flies like a shooting star. She whispers, you were never born, so you will never